Hi, I'm just making this video. It's actually my second time filming it because for some reason the first one went slow motion. I guess it was a bad video. We're gonna redo it. I'm gonna talk about a pet peeve of mine that really makes me really irritated. It's like microtrends or whatever. I don't mean like microtrends as in like the cinnamon challenge. I'm talking about like, you know, cottagecore, clowncore, vanilla girl. I literally just got an email from an old store I used to shop at. It said something about like latte girl. I guess latte girl is a new thing. The reason why I'm making this video is because this is just my 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cents on the topic, because I just wanted to ask you, whoever's watching this, and answer me authentically if you can. And if you cannot, we have to discuss. Do you know yourself? Do you know what you like? If you could label your aesthetic, what would it be? Time's up, because I'm gonna go ahead and just say you might think you know the answer to those things, but I highly doubt it, because one, you're probably around my age, and second, because if you're constantly on the internet like I am, you're probably getting told what to do, what to wear, and having all these advertisements in your face 24/7. So I know this is a really corny topic, but I am just saying, I was actually watching a video earlier that explained a statistic about how many hours a day you're being advertised, and a lot of these advertisements, it's just other people's ideas and other people's thoughts.
The average person in the US is exposed to over 4,000 to 10,000 ads per day. Every single one of those messages clutters up the noise of what you should do.
So in the defense of having micro aesthetics, it's probably not even your fault. It's really no one's fault, because you're just being told these things. You don't know why you're being told these things. Now, this isn't gonna go into too personal territory. I'm never gonna add anyone on this page, because I ain't like that, and I'm not messy. I've seen it firsthand, especially with TikTok. I know I talk about TikTok a lot, I'm sorry. It's just so quick. It's just so fast. I thought the mob wife thing was happening. Like, I thought it was still a thing. Apparently it's old. It's like 3 weeks old, you guys. So can we pick a side? Can we pick an aesthetic? Because at this point, Urban Outfitters can't keep up. It's gonna go into my next thing about the issue with having a lack of identity and possibly using this as a way to cope with an identity crisis. Now, I'm not saying every person in this case scenario is having an identity crisis. That is absolutely not true. Listen, I had a phase in 5th grade where I wore purple every single day. Could you say that was an identity crisis? No. It was weird and very, very niche down, but I just really liked the color purple. And the way I knew it wasn't anything on some egocentric, let's be cool, like the popular kid in the room, it's because I was the only one doing it. I personally believe that every person, at least watching this video, has that one thing. If they can be their authentic self every single day, there's that one thing that they would do that they know they can't do, style-wise, we're not gonna get weird, that wouldn't look right and it wouldn't sit right with them because it doesn't fit their aesthetic. It's like that one meme where it's like you share too much of your personality that day and you're trying to be mysterious. It's basically like that. That, honestly, in my opinion, I know it's cool to like hold back and try to be a bit more calmed down and more subtle to fit into a particular aesthetic or a crowd because it's safe. But let me tell you why that's dangerous. Outside of the fact it might make you look cringe, it's expensive. And I don't mean expensive in a case of like you have to continue buying the same shit to keep up, but like it's expensive in a sense that I don't think a lot of people, including myself, aren't totally aware of the way they spend money. I read this excellent book, and if I can find or remember the exact title, I'll put it up as an example. It really talks about the way people spend money and how their identity and their belief systems make them buy unnecessary stuff. And I think a lot of companies are taking advantage of Gen Z's identity crisis. When I say expensive, I mean it's overconsumption. I have a bet that a lot of Starbucks drinks are only Starbucks drinks because it's for Pinterest photos. I'm not here to shit on Starbucks. The tiniest, littlest things could become a person's identity, and it's really freaking scary. I mean, in the sense of like, you don't really have anything in yourself that you feel is reputable and unique enough, or you think the things that you like personally are a bit too like cringe. So instead of just following your heart and just buying the crap and dressing the way you would prefer to dress, I don't think a lot of people realize, and listen, I'm not perfect, I'm still dealing with it, realize so many things that you do is just egocentric. It takes a long time, I would say, to finally get to the space where you're like, I think I'm doing this because I like this, not because it fits my personal brand that doesn't actually exist. That is like my bone to pick with micro aesthetics. Hear me out. I think it prevents people from actually living their life authentically. I actually made this example in the first video before it got destroyed. There used to be this, I don't know what this trend was called, don't ask me, I have no idea, but basically it would be like people would go to art museums and take photos with a bow, specifically a bow, not a pinwheel bow, it's different, I don't know the name. They put it in the back of their hair, and they take a photo in front of a photo, which is really weird. I mean, the whole experience is about actually the art, not you. Obviously, you can tell the person's like, I could tell. They were trying to chase a moment and they're trying to chase a Pinterest photo. Which is so weird to think about, because I think if you're spending your life trying to create micro Pinterest moments in your life that look Pinterest worthy, then you're really wasting your time, because one, in real life, I'm not saying you can't have like aesthetic Pinterest moments in your life. I'm just saying that shouldn't be the expectation. So you're basing your day and your identity and everything that's happening in that moment to create a moment that you don't even really know anything about. You're wasting your life, you know what I mean? You're not really being yourself and living your own life. Here's the thing, I like the idea of picking pieces and aspects. Every person is like a sum of parts, a sum of interests, a sum of places they've been, and all that corny stuff, you know what I mean? The issue is I think people don't really like to embrace that. You're never gonna be one type of person, okay? You're never gonna be one type of aesthetic. And that's why it's incredibly disappointing where there was like this entire thing online about being an it girl, when in reality that's very subjective. And first of all, the it girl definition and aesthetic has actually evolved and changed over the years.
Lenore Glynn, appearing as herself in the film, further defines what it is, saying, quote, self-confidence and indifference as to whether you are pleasing or not, and something that gives the impression that you are not at all cold. That's it. This is a crucial aspect of it that is oft forgot today. It is that very disinterest in their own popularity that adds to the charm of it.
It girl was more like the cool girl next door, and now it became the chick with the followers, the body, and all the attention, which that's not technically how it started off, but that's tea for another day. No one's ever gonna be one single thing, and I think it's really easy for at least someone that's young, that kind of lacks a self-identity, to sit down and be like, well, is this thing that I'm buying, is this identity that I'm chasing, is the clothes that I'm wearing, am I chasing something that would make self-actualizing and becoming my own independent person easier, like kind of slapping on an aesthetic and calling it a day, or do I genuinely enjoy and like these things, or do I want to recreate something that I think would make me look cool? And guys, it runs deep. It's not just clothes. It could be something as stupid as watching an anime, because y'all, I was part of the crowd back in the day that was the weird person who liked anime. It became an aesthetic to like uncool things. And I wouldn't be surprised if the majority of people, and I'm just saying anime as an example, the majority of people who are trying to fit that aesthetic probably don't even like anime. It's just cool around their friends. In the end, it's ironic because it became cool to be an outcast, but it's still not cool to be an outcast, because if you're not liking outcast shit, you're an outcast. I went to a party one time and it was like the cool guys at school, whatever. I was with an old partner and they put like an old Bleach episode, some crap from like 2007 or something on, like it was Bleach, and I was like, wow, I remember this, is so nostalgic. And then the partner I was with like took his phone out despite there being a literal anime on the TV and was like, wanna watch anime? Like, it became this thing of like going outside and smoking a cigarette because everyone's smoking a cigarette. You get what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to shit on anybody who likes that stuff, like there ain't nothing wrong with it, but I'm saying you need to sit down and ask if you like the things that you like, or is it egocentric, because it can cost you. It's wasting your time. And you have to acknowledge that no one wants to be an outcast, but maybe you kind of are. And that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. All the crap that was weird like in 2013. It's popping now. I got made fun of in middle school for carrying a Bratz backpack. I literally got made fun of. My sister was embarrassed to be next to me. But look what's trending. What I'm saying is, I'm gonna end this video. Picking an aesthetic or a micro aesthetic subcategory from Pinterest, whatever, is not going to be the solution to your identity crisis. I'm going to go ahead and end the video. If you like this, let me know. And if you have any comments, please let me know in the comment section. And I'm going to go work out, make dinner, and live my life. Bye.